Good morning and a happy Monday to you all. Welcome to Thrive, Not Just Survive. I'm so glad that you're here. I hope you've had a wonderful weekend. Whatever you did in terms of spending time with family, cooking, going for walks, I hope that you made the most of your time. Now, I know every day feels like a weekend, and we talked about last week with one of our guests how important it is to create a routine because really to have success we must have a routine that we can have these things that we do in our day slotted into our schedule. This helps us become successful even while we're home doing the things that we're doing at home, whether it be our children, our businesses, or just our life in general. So today I want to bring to you a very, very special guest. Her name is Yamilca, and she is from Kentucky, and she's going to share with us some strategies. She's an entrepreneur, a businesswoman, and a very special mom. So I want to bring her on so she can tell us a little bit about how she's been going through, dealing with COVID-19, and just as a business person, her perspective on mindset. So let me bring Yamilca on, and we'll get started. Good morning, Yamilca. Welcome.
Good
And
morning.
how are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Excellent. Thank you for joining me. I know that, we met through a common friend. And right away, of course, I took to you because you have such a beautiful energy and a light about you. But one of the things that really caught me was that you are not just a businesswoman, a very successful businesswoman, and a TEDx speaker, and all of the things that you do with the stuff that we're going to talk about of what you do, but you're also a mom, a stepmom to a child with medical challenges. So I want to touch on all of this today, but first I want to hear a little bit about who you are and what you do.
So, well, thank you, Nasira, for having me on. I am very excited. I love doing these lives and really helping people kind of get through hard times. We're all living our own different stories at the moment. I call them chapters. We are living our particular chapter in the last few months. And it's how we kind of take that chapter on and move forward. I think that each chapter should be written in our lives to tell a particular story. So I live, like you said, in Louisville, Kentucky. I'm originally from Venezuela. I was born in Caracas. My family is all in Venezuela at the moment. I have a brother in Vienna, and but the rest of my family lives in Mérida, Venezuela. So they don't actually live in the capital. They live in the mountains, in the Andes Mountains. So I'm here with my husband. And my husband, we are both transplants. We live in Louisville, Kentucky, but he's originally from England, and I'm from Venezuela. We met online. Actually, it was the first person I actually met online. It was crazy. I went online and I met him, right? So I call that being pretty lucky, actually. Yes. So that was our story. And so we love Louisville. It's just they call it the welcoming city. And we love it here. We live in the middle of nowhere. So that's actually good right now because we can just go out and enjoy the forest and the river and the grass and what we have right in front of us. But, because of this time, we are actually both working really, really hard. He's working. He's all day in his office. I'm working. I'm all day doing something on the computer. So we have to plan the time outside. If not, it just doesn't get done. And luckily today we have a beautiful day. So my plan is right after this, take a walk.
That's awesome. And I think that's the key, right? You got to have a plan, and we can all kind of get into a mode of, oh, I don't know what to do. Then you become lethargic, and before you know it, it's lunchtime, and then you're eating, and then you're more lethargic. So I think the planning is really important. So shed a little bit of light on this beautiful child or young man that we talked about. Tell me how you're coping, or how your family is coping with it.
Yes. So we share Lawrence. We have him half and half with his mother, and it's been challenging, and it's been really good. I think a lot of us are going through these things where we have these challenges, but something kind of really good has come out of it. So for us, Lawrence needs full care. So he doesn't communicate. He's nonverbal, and so we have to do a lot of things for him.
How old is he? Can you tell us?
He's 25, but like you, he's forever 6.
Yes.
So very sweet. He has cerebral palsy. He's autistic.
Okay.
And he has a little bit of mental retardation. So he's a mixture of several things. As you know, and we know, each child is very, very different. Lawrence is, he goes into his autism, but he goes out of it too. So he has that connection with you, that personal connection. We've had a little bit of a difficult time. His seizures are kind of been more consistent, which we don't really love. So we've had to kind of play with medication, and I say play, I don't literally mean play, but work on his medication. And like all these children, a lot of them take a lot of medication. Lauren takes a lot of medication. So we have to be very careful on those things. But for the most part, he's a very sweet boy. We've been going on walks. We took a long walk with him the other day, which we never do. It's like sad that we get into these really rhythms, that, you work, you do this, you do that. And I think we've broken out of all of those with all this going on, and really kind of encompassed a whole different set of habits. And that's been really, really good for Lawrence, because now we go outside with him. I mean, the weather is better too, so that's part of it. We take him on longer walks where we wouldn't before. And he can be a little stubborn. So we have to, and then so we have to kind of not force him, but kind of make sure that he's taking the right path. And then with his dad and I, what we've done is we've take turns sometimes with him. Like if he needs to go do something in the yard, I'll take care of Lawrence, right? And we'll play and we'll do things together. And then if I need to do something, he'll take care of Lawrence. So we really share that. To be honest, he does much more work than I do in the daily. But I love my time with him. I love just being with him on my own. He's just such a sweet soul. And we laugh because he does things, each child is different. Like since Lawrence doesn't really talk, he has to communicate differently. So he'll bring me something, and I know that means that he wants to either give him some food, or he'll grab my hand and take me to his room. And I know that he wants me to change the channel. Right. So we've learned to communicate in a different way, and being open to that, I think is also important. Sometimes we don't really, I know you probably experienced this too. Like people say, "Oh, I'm so sad for you. Oh, that must be difficult." It's not, because we do it from our heart.
Yeah.
Right. We do it.
The common language, I think, is love, right? Because it comes from that. Then really, yes, maybe verbally he can't speak, but he can definitely feel your energy and know that, there's a different way of communicating. So I think that's a beautiful thing when, as parents of children with special needs, or differences, I think we can really acknowledge them in a different way, right? So yeah, you do get parent or people saying, "Oh, I'm so sorry," or this must be hard for you. It's just different, right? It's just different, and I think for all of us who go through it, it's a learning too, right? It's because we don't have a manual of it. So over time, we learn, right? So now tell me a little bit about what you do. Like, I know we talked about brand strategy, but tell us a little bit more about what you do as an entrepreneur and in the business that you have.
Yeah, so I worked at a big company for a long time, and I left that for love. So I moved here to Louisville, Kentucky to marry Rolf, my husband. And so I had to take a different perspective. I had to change what I was doing. I tried a few different jobs, but that wasn't really, we moved from a big city to I moved from a big city to a smaller city. So things were completely different here. And so I decided to take everything that I had learned over the past 15 years and put a methodology together. So my partner and I have developed this this method called archetype method. And a lot of people don't even know what archetypes are. So archetypes are just basically symbols and characteristics that we find in different people. And so what we've done is we've taken that, and we've done this for 15 years. So it's not anything brand new. There's actually books on it. But what we've done is we've taken the methodology for people with small businesses or just, not big companies. You can do this for both. But what I love about it is being able to take it to people who have less resources. So it really maps out your brand characteristics, because what happens is brands need to have personality. If they don't have a personality, it's easy with personal branding because you can bring your personality in, but it's more difficult when you have a product or service to bring personality. But people need to connect in that form. So what you do is you bring that personality into your brand, and then you map your super fan. So what we're really excited is in January, we were able to really help people with what we call their strategic target or super fan. But it depends on your brand archetype. So what happens is that opposites attract. So we're really, so your opposite is actually your super fan. And so understanding your super fan is critical for you to have that connection and be able to market to them. So we've done this methodology, and we've developed it. We have a free quiz on brandarchetype.co. So you can kind of look at your brand archetype, and then it'll give you your super fan, and really being able to be consistent on your messaging. I mean, I've done branding for a long time. And I see a lot of companies that are, smaller companies that really don't understand the importance of being consistent. We think that we can change things and people will understand. And a lot of times they just get confused. Right. Because they're confused about your messaging or what you do. So we're really excited to really help people with this brandarchetype.co. We're also we just started a podcast. We're really excited about that. Yeah, Soulful Essence is the name of the podcast. Soulful Essence. Yes.
Soulful. Full with double L?
No, one L. Soulful. So one word, soulful, and then essence.
Is there a dot, or it's just called Soulful Essence?
Soulful Essence.
Okay. I'm going to put that up just so people can see. Hopefully I've spelt it right. Is that right?
That is correct.
Excellent. So that's a great podcast for people to maybe just listen and kind of get more ideas on this whole thing about archetype, right? So I think the quiz, did you say that it was a free quiz they could just take?
Yes. Yeah, free quiz. Just take it.
Yeah. And in terms of COVID and, working from home, which, as you and I, for the most part, we work from home anyway, so probably not a lot has changed. But how has that been how did you have to mentally switch your mind because of the challenges?
Yeah. So although, I work from home, I do have a lot of networking meetings. And actually, I was never home with all the meetings that I kind of went to. I've learned so much from this because also bringing exercise back into my life on a regular basis, it's really freed my brain. I guess I can say that. Like, it's freed my brain from stagnant energy. And so what I've decided to do is, like you mentioned at the beginning, is have this kind of routine that I do every day. Like, I get up, I meditate, I do my exercises, and then I get to work on whatever, just either learning something new or checking my emails. And then in the afternoon, I kind of save that for either meetings with people or teaching. I've done a lot of teaching on Zoom lately, so that's been great. And so it's really changed my life, I say, for the better, because now I think once we get back to semi-normal, whatever we call it, I don't think it's, for me, it's not going to be a great idea to go back the way I was doing everything. I think I need to change to the new normal. So bringing in some of these things that I've learned over the last few weeks is going to be really important for me to move forward. And I'm so happy I kind of had this time to do it, because I would have never really done it if I didn't have
all of us, right? It's become a reset for everybody. Like, it doesn't matter what we do, or if you had a job or you're self-employed, it's a huge reset to kind of change our focus and change the way we're doing things. And I really, I've been talking last week about, that normal that we lived wasn't really working. And so really, why would you want to go back to that normal? It didn't work. So now we're creating a new normal. And hopefully, as we get out of COVID-19, we're able to make that the new normal, right? And become more productive, have more impact, and create or at least figure out what our mission is and who our audience is. Who do we want to serve? At the end of the day, really, I think this is more of a transformation of oneself, if oneself wants to do it, right? There are people that kind of are taking a back seat, saying, well, we'll just kind of wake up when this is over. And I'm hoping that it'll still wake them up to say, this is an opportunity. It's a blessing, right? And looking at it from that perspective can really change what the outcome will be at the end of it all. So I think that is really something that, you've said it beautifully, right? That you don't really want to go to that normal. You kind of want to go with what you're learning from this experience. And I think for a lot of us, me included, it's been a great way to learn about that, right? About who we really are, who we want to be after this. So I think that's great. I think from perspective, Wayne Dyer says it best, right? When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change, right? So it's really a perspective. So that's awesome. So tell me, I know we're just about at the 20-minute mark. I like to make sure that at the end we give just a highlight of what you want to kind of leave with parting words of what, as we start this week, it's a Monday, just some things that maybe you can encourage people or things that have worked for you over the last little bit.
Yeah. So I have to say, like you said, this was a blessing in disguise, I think, real disguise. And so what I want people to take from these learnings, or what I've taken from these learnings, is the fact that structure gives you freedom. I think that is the key. Like, for me to have some sort of structure that I can go to has let me kind of have this freedom to do different things, to try different things. I've learned some things on social media that I hadn't been able to learn before. I'm getting a little bit more savvy with different things. And so I'm taking advantage of that. And because if we don't take advantage of these things now, it's not going to happen. It just won't. I mean, we'll get busy again. Things will get crazy. And it's not like we're not busy. I think we're busier now than ever because we have to put focus and attention. And that's why I say structure gives you freedom. So the more focus and attention you put on something, the more freedom you have to do the things that you haven't been able to do. So I just leave you with try something different, try something new, and see what comes out of it. And don't try it just for, like, they say it takes 21 days to make a habit, right? And so I think try it for at least 10 days and then decide whether you want to continue it or just try something else.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really good advice, is just start something new, right? And try it. Like, we have nothing to lose. Like, really, we have a lot of time on our hands, and we can really start figuring it out. Like, we like this, we don't like this. So that's awesome. Thank you for shedding light. Thank you for spending your Monday morning with me and our audience here. I know that you've brought some light to people that are perhaps been thinking about maybe starting a business. What does it mean? Branding, strategy. And it doesn't have to be such a big monster, right? You can take it in small, bite-sized pieces, and then encourage sort of the learning that we have the time to do now, because there's so much free learning online that you could start at least thinking about it, right?
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you, and I wish you a wonderful week. Love to Lawrence and your husband. And
Thank you.
I will see you soon. And well, at least online, I'll see you soon. Thank you so much,
Sarah.
Well, thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed that. Yamilca is a wonderful human being, and shared some light on what you can do for, if you were thinking about starting a business, or what does it mean about brand strategy. And, for people that have the time right now and have been thinking about starting a business, it's good to do this R&D, research and development, and figure it out and kind of write things down, and, reach out to people. There's a lot of free services, a lot of free online training. So, this is your opportunity. So I hope you're going to take it. I wish you a wonderful, blessed Monday. I will see you again tomorrow. I'm doing a live Canva training for anybody that's interested. Join me tomorrow at 10 a.m. because I will show you how easy it is to use the free version of Canva to do your social media posting. So I will see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. I wish you a blessed day, and thanks for joining.